So if you've been dealing with some tight hip flexors, muscles in the front of the hip feel constantly tight, and you've been stretching and not getting much improvement or much results, then let's try these exercises that might help you out to get you feeling a little better and get that tension out of that hip. So commonly, if something feels tight, we stretch it. Now, however, that's not always a bad idea, but sometimes it's not quite what your body needs. What that means is you may have some increased tension in the muscle because maybe the muscle is weak. So stretching it out is not going to really correct the issue. Sometimes you will benefit from some strengthening. Even though the muscle may feel tight, it's just because there's increased tension, possibly from instability or some weakness. So what we want to do is strengthen up that muscle. So here's a couple exercises I like to do to get that hip feeling better and create some more mobility and decrease tension in the front of the hip. So let's get into it. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with some basic joint mobility exercise. We're going to warm up the tissue, warm up the joint. We can do that in multiple number of ways, but the one that I like is controlled articular rotations or hip circles. Let's start right here with the on hands and knees. So what we do first is we're just going to warm up the tissue, do some hip circles, pull engage the abdominals here, pull the knee to the chest, go out to the side as far as we can, and start to rotate the hip, and come back out. And then repeat the process in reverse. So take a big breath in the belly, trap some air, kick back, try to keep the pelvis level. We're gonna rotate, 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 and coming back. And we'll do this movement about 5 reps. Nice and slow. Keeping the core recruited and the hips level, not to let our pelvis kind of rock. So next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna work on some end range activation exercises. We're gonna try and recruit those hip flexor muscles in the end ranges of its movement. So we're going to use a yoga block. When I like to do that, use a wall or something to give yourself a little bit of stability for balance. We want to have a little bit of space, so our end range, that means how high we can recruit or lift the leg. We want to be close to that end range. So I'm going to use kind of the lower setting on this yoga block. We're going to take a big breath in our belly, and we're going to try to lift and hold. Try to lift as far as we can without leaning back. We don't want to lean our body back. So we're just trying to lift that foot, recruit the muscle in the front of the hip, recruit those, and lift off. So again, trap some air in that belly, get some good tension, and lift. So from a different angle here, put the foot there, try to lift that hip. We're trying to recruit that right hip. Do about 5 times for 5 seconds on this one. And you can even spice it up a little bit. Move the foot out to the side a little bit. And now we got a little bit of different play. Use a wall, use a PVC pipe, whatever to stabilize. Keep your torso still. Lift. All right, so that's that one. So the last thing I like to do is some strengthening exercises. We did some general mobility, some activation. Let's do a little bit of strength through a more complete range of motion. Let's use a resistance band or a TheraBand here. We're gonna put that around your legs, and we're gonna do a little bit of a resisted march. So you can essentially have one leg straight. If this is the right leg's our working leg that we're trying to address, we're gonna pull and recruit those muscles to that full range of motion. So again, recruit your belly muscles here, and we're just gonna pull back or pull our knee towards our chest. And back down. Again, I like to do about 10 of these, about 2 sets for about 3 to 5 second holds. Now, that's it for those. So if you can work on these 3 things instead of just stretching. Now stretching isn't always a bad idea, but if you've been stretching consistently and you're not getting any improvement, you feel like that muscle in the front of the hip continues to stay tight and tense, then try some mobility and some strengthening exercises to see if that strengthening doesn't quite do the trick and get you feeling better, gets that tension out of your hip flexor. So that's it, guys. Talk to y'all next time.